Have you ever seen someone struggling and just wanted to help, but you weren't quite sure of the right way to do it? The skills of caregiving, they really aren't just for professionals. They're for any of us who want to help a family member, a loved one, or even a stranger, and do it with safety and respect. Getting this right is about so much more than just having good intentions.
In that moment when you need these skills, it can pop up when you least expect it. I mean, take this story from our source material. It happened on a simple date at an ice cream shop. When a woman with a cane needed a hand, knowing the correct procedure wasn't just about being nice, it was about giving her safe, effective support. It's a really powerful reminder that these skills are for everyday life, not just for a hospital setting.
And that right there is the key idea we're going to explore today. See, effective care isn't just a checklist of things to do. It's about really understanding the why behind them. Why do you stand in a certain spot? Why is the order of movement so important? Every single action is guided by two huge principles: making sure the person is safe and always, always upholding their dignity.
So, before we jump into the specific how-tos, let's build the right mindset. Because if you can really get these next few principles down, you'll be ready for almost any situation. These rules are pretty much universal.
All right, let's break down these 5 golden rules. First up, protecting your own back by bending your knees, that's just non-negotiable. Clear communication, something simple like on the count of 3 gets you both in sync. Using a gait belt gives you a secure handle without grabbing their arms. Then there's dignity, which is all about respect. And finally, preventing dizziness by having them sit up slowly. And why is that so important? Well, as our source explains, when you change positions too fast, it can cause a sudden drop in blood pressure. So altogether, these 5 things create a complete system for safe and respectful help.
Okay, so we've got the rules. That's great. But how do they actually translate into action when you're helping someone get out of bed or use a walker? Let's bridge that gap right now between the theory and the real-world practice.
We're going to focus on 3 really common areas: helping someone move from a bed to a chair, and helping out with walkers and canes. These are skills you are very, very likely to come across.
And this is where our golden rules just come to life. Look at step 1. You put the chair on the person's unaffected or stronger side. Why? Because that lets them help with the transfer, which supports their independence. And then in step 4, you see it, the caregiver is lifting with their legs, not their back. That's golden rule number 1 right in action. It's all about working smarter, not harder.
Now, helping with a walker versus a cane, at first glance, it looks pretty similar. In both situations, the person moves their weaker leg first to get some support. But look really closely at that last line. Where you stand is completely different, and that one little detail is one of the most important things to learn.
So here's the crucial point. When you're assisting with a cane, you must stand on their affected or weaker side. Our source material really hammers this home, saying this is super tested in professional training. And for a simple reason, it puts you in the perfect position to support them if they start to lose their balance toward that weaker side. Seriously, if you remember one thing from this section, make it this.
Now that we've covered mobility, let's talk about another huge part of care: hygiene and comfort. So how do we apply our principles of safety and dignity here? Well, the focus shifts even more toward privacy and respect.
And this is just a brilliant illustration of how simple actions maintain both dignity and safety. Having the person check the water temperature respects their comfort. Their sense of touch might be totally different from yours. Washing from clean to dirty, like using a different part of the washcloth for each eye, is just basic infection control. And patting the skin dry instead of rubbing, that's a small detail that helps prevent painful skin tears, especially on fragile skin.
This brings us to what's called perineal care, which is a critical piece of hygiene. The procedure itself is straightforward, but it's governed by that absolute non-negotiable rule we just talked about: always, always clean from front to back. This simple direction is one of the single most effective ways to prevent spreading germs and causing an infection. Whew, we've covered a lot of ground from mobility to hygiene. So let's try to distill all of this down into a simple, memorable guide that wraps up the most critical action for each situation. Think of this as your mental checklist. For any transfer, it's all about your legs. For cane use, where you stand is everything. With a walker, it's about getting that stable base set up before they move. And for all personal hygiene, the direction you wash in is the absolute key to preventing infection.
And finally, let's not forget the power of simple human touch. Our source shares this wonderful tip. A simple 3 to 5 minute back rub just using long, firm strokes can release so much tension and improve circulation. It's such a small act of kindness that goes way beyond procedure and provides real comfort.
Because ultimately, all of these procedures, they're just the foundation. They provide the safety and the confidence you need to focus on what really matters, the human connection. The techniques make sure you can care for someone, but how you connect with them, well, that's how you truly show you care about them.